All right, homeless advocates rallied out the Supreme Court as justices heard arguments over homeless rights, a ruling that could impact us here in California. Sacramento County District Attorney Tien Ho joins us now. You were in Washington, D.C. You got to be at the Supreme Court, hear the discussion between the justices. Have you ever been there before? And what was your first impression going in? I always like to ask that.
You know, it's the first time I've ever been to the Supreme Court. You walk in, there are these marble columns, these red curtains, and the 9 justices sitting there. It's an amazing experience. My office filed 2 briefs in support of the city of Grants Pass. And when you listen to the justices ask the questions, it's not an exact science, but the questions they ask are almost like arguments, and you get an idea of where they're going.
And when we talk about where they're going here, there's a lot of backstory, and there's so much involved in this, even with the Grants Pass case. But at its level, this is how cities and counties can deal with homeless, specifically how they can clean up encampments and where they can let homeless people camp and not camp, right?
Absolutely.
More or less.
More or less. That's the gist of it. And the Ninth Circuit put limitations on when and how cities could deal with it. And so that's what we were dealing with in the Supreme Court.
And and when you heard the justices discussing this, when I was listening in, they had some pretty pointed arguments or points or questions. Like I heard one justice saying, so if I like to go sleep on the beach and I fall asleep, but I'm not a homeless person, technically under the law you have, I could be arrested for homelessness. I mean, they were really going through all the ins and outs.
They really were. And they were talking about essentially, are you criminalizing homelessness? And you can't criminalize somebody's status. But here's the situation. They ask, okay, if you need to eat, but does that give you the right to steal in order to eat? So it's really punishing not the status of somebody, but the conduct and the public safety health issues that come from it.
When you heard the arguments, after hearing them, you get a kind of feel for what they're thinking. You think, they could do anything, they could rule any way. But after you heard their arguments, what was your feeling? You think they're going to rule in favor of Grants Pass, or do you think it could go the other way?
I think they're going to rule in favor of the city of Grants Pass. They're either going to overturn the Ninth Circuit and rule in favor of the city, or they're going to put or allow the city of Grants Pass to do much more than they were allowed to do.
And when we talk about cities and counties, so if they do that, obviously cities, not only here in California, but across the country. Here in California, we have more homeless people than anywhere else because of our size and our population. Everybody is watching this case because this could give cities and counties more tools to deal with encampments and homeless people, correct?
Well, you look at it, Sacramento has spiraled out of control when we talk about our homeless crisis, a 250% increase in 7 years, the most of anywhere. And what this is going to do is going to give, in terms of policy, additional tools for city. But it's not just about policy, it's about people. Will the people in power use those tools effectively? That's going to be the question as well.
When the other side here was like arresting them, finding them, criminalizing this is kind of cruel and unusual. What would you like to say to the other side who says we've got to find a better solution? Giving cities more tools to arrest them, to kick them out of their tents and move the encampments is not the way to go. Well,
here's the deal. It's not compassionate to let people die in the streets. I've never been an advocate for criminalizing homelessness, but people on the streets, chronically homeless, suffer from mental health and drug addiction, victims of sexual assault. We need the tools to help them get into services and shelter. And this is what that case is going to allow cities to do. But will the cities follow through with the policy and enact a balanced approach with compassion and accountability?
If they, and this is a big if question here. If the Supreme Court overturns it, rules in favor of Grants Pass and gives cities and counties more mechanisms to deal with this, and the cities and counties don't, this would mean that people could come back and file a suit against those cities, right?
Well, that's exactly what I've done here in the city of Sacramento. And so it's going to hold cities responsible and communities and jurisdictions responsible in terms of following the law. And that's really what it's about. It's about accountability. You can't hide behind the decision anymore.
So listening to the Supreme Court justices, you think that they might rule in favor of Grants Pass?
I strongly believe they will. And it'll probably be somewhere between a 5-4 or even a 6-3 decision.
Closer to a split then.
There's going to be a split there, but it's going to be, either 6-3 or 5-4. It's going to be in favor of overturning it.
Wow. Tien Ho, thanks for joining us this morning. Sacramento County District Attorney talking about a problem we've all seen grow and are concerned about. Thank you so much, District Attorney.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.